good one in the SEC this weekend. We got Auburn and Arkansas. This game will be played at home for the Must Bus. We'll see how warm the bus is today. I don't know. I don't think the bus gets cold per se, but it's certainly not like the most comfortable the bus has been in Muss's tenure.
It's not. It's not. This game is really interesting because I think both teams kind of need this. It's going to be played with a February kind of intensity, I hope at least, which should be a lot of fun.
Yes. So this is Brian Rauf from Heat Check CBB. I'm GregWaddell from Sleepers Media. Previews, recaps on the Sleepers channel all season long. We haven't spent a ton of time talking about either of these teams. I think we've done a couple of Auburn previews. To be honest with you, I don't know that there's been an Arkansas preview going back to Arkansas Duke in November. Like they've just had a quiet December month where they took care of business against the teams they should beat. They lost on a neutral to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a good basketball team. Nobody's upset about that. The big development for the Razorbacks is Keon Mennefield is in the lineup. And last time that he suited up for the Razorbacks, he had 32 points and 5 assists in 35 minutes. He kind of looked like a superstar, to be honest with you. Now, he had a really good year his freshman year at Washington on a team that lost a bunch of games. I was really excited about his transfer to Arkansas this offseason, but there's always so many transfers to Arkansas. You don't really know what to expect. I'm kind of shocked he's even playing this season, but I liked what I saw last game. Where should we be at with Keon right now?
I think we should be hopeful, right? I don't think he's going to repeat that performance, particularly with the step up in competition going up against Auburn now. But I also don't think we should expect him to totally fall off a cliff. He was a good player at Washington. Bring him over here. He's now put forth some good performances. If he can be at the very least, let's say a reliable contributor, somebody who can give you double-digit points on a consistent basis, having another guy like that in the fold raises the ceiling for Arkansas and raises the floor, certainly, because you have some kind of built-in margin for error if certain players aren't hitting on a certain day, right? So that's the positive thing. The upside is you have a star in the backcourt who you can rely on in a way that you kind of had always hoped Devo Davis would develop into, and he is just inconsistently, which takes Arkansas from being a tournament team to being one of the favorites to win the SEC. I'm interested to see how this plays out because Auburn has a really good backcourt and a really deep backcourt and a backcourt that is going to pressure you and get after you defensively and then make sure you defend on the other end as well. So this is going to be as big of a test as he has faced. If he can handle this, then I think the hype train can really start rolling.
Yeah, Auburn's defense to me, their offense actually grades out slightly ahead of their defense just in national rankings. Both good, both top 20 units. And it's kind of funny because I don't think people are really giving Auburn like top 10 team in the country credit or even top 20 team in the country credit. They're 10th on KenPom right now, pretty much across the board. Like they're good on both sides of the basketball. So I think they are a team, like if you were looking to buy stock, and I don't know that it would even be buy low right now, but look, much like Arkansas, they haven't played anybody good for a while. They blew out Indiana. They blew out USC. Both of those teams are essentially in shambles right now, but they're winning games decisively. Like there's reason to believe this Auburn team is very, very good. But yeah, the turnover battle will be what I am keeping an eye on here because on one end, Arkansas doesn't force turnovers. That's not what they do. And Auburn takes care of the basketball a ton. And then on the other side, like Auburn will pressure you. Auburn will get into your shit. I think Arkansas has a lot of moving parts in the backcourt. Over the course of the season, they're not bad by any means at turning the ball over. But now that you've got Mennefield in the starting lineup, at least in the Wilmington game, and you've got other guys coming in and out, it just feels like this could be a game where they end up getting bit more than they normally do by the turnover bug. And I don't know that there's an Arkansas guard I really trust. I was trying to think of it. Like normally in past years, there's been a guy like Anthony Black. He's going to figure it out. Who's going to figure it out if Auburn gets in their shit in this game?
Maybe it's Mennefield, right? But he has played mid-major competition to this point, at least in this season. This is a great chance for someone to step up and be that guy. This is around the time last year where Anthony Black started stepping up and becoming that guy. because we thought he was going to be second, third, fourth option on that Arkansas team. Then it became pretty clear that, oh no, this is Anthony Black's team. He's the guy we can rely on. They need somebody to step up in that sense. I feel confident on a day-to-day basis or a game-to-game basis that Arkansas is going to have somebody in the backcourt play well. There are too many good guards on this team that they've been able to rely on either this person or this person or this person. Battle's had a good game. Mark's had a lot of good games. We've talked about L. Ellis having good games. We just talked about Minifield having good games. But it's been, one good game here from this guy, one good game here from this guy, one good game here from this guy. If they get some consistency and a legitimate pecking order and some reliable production on a nightly basis from guys, that changes things. And I think to compete in the top of the SEC, you're going to have to find that. And the Auburn thing is interesting because they will test you, but the guards are also very young. So the opportunity will be there for you to potentially capitalize on some mistakes that Auburn may make. Right. So this is the perfect, proving ground to see who that guy may be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we could get some answers to some of our questions in this game, which makes for a very fun, exciting game, that you have a reason to watch. And so personnel-wise, we've done the backcourt stuff a little bit. I want to put a bow on it just by asking you point blank. You can only take one guard from this game to be your guard. It can be a point guard, it can be a shooting guard, whatever. Give me the guard you trust most that you would want to take from one of these two teams to build a basketball team around.
The guard I trust most or the guard I like the most?
You answer that however you want. I'm thinking if you could only subtract one guard from this game and take him with you to build a team around him, who would it be?
I think it has to be Tremont Mark.
Okay.
I think it has to be, but Aiden Holloway, I have so much fun watching him play for Auburn. I think he is going to be a star. I think he has shown lots of flashes of that. And he's contributed at a high level. But Mark has the track record.
I think that's the right answer. I thought that maybe you would take the bait and try to get cute or get creative with it, which is what I was kind of selfishly hoping you would do. But I think Mark is the correct.
I wanted to.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of good guards in this game. That's the thing. A lot of them are on the Arkansas side, to be honest, outside of Holloway. But yeah, I think that's the right pick. Holloway's just been, he hasn't been bad by any means. His numbers on the season are fine. He's shooting it pretty well from three. Could shoot a little better, I think. I think he's a higher level shooter than a 36% shooter, but he takes tough ones. Every single game, he's going to miss some that are why'd he shoot that? And then he's going to make some that are oh, that's why he shot that. His assist rate's pretty damn good for a freshman. He really, honestly, the most impressive thing with Aiden is he doesn't really turn the ball over. He has a lot of games where he has 0 turnovers this season. He's in the middle of a scoring slump right now. I think you can say a lot of that is because he hasn't needed to play a ton in some of these blowout wins. But he's in single digits now in 4 of his last 5 games, 6 of their last 8 games. So something to keep an eye on. Maybe he bounces back. Maybe he has a big game here. In the front court, it's John Broome, and it's nobody really from. Brazil's there. Brazil's a good player, but I think Broome's going to take.
Had a big game against Duke. Brazil had a big game against Duke. We talked about that in that preview and recap. I think that can be a really underrated, fun matchup in this game. I think the winner is going to have an edge inside. I don't know if that's the reason why that team wins, but I do think the winner is going to have an edge inside in that matchup.
So I might need you to talk me into Brazil. I know he's fine. I know he's a good player. I don't mean to disrespect him by any means. He strikes me as a guy that when he goes up against a player of Broome's caliber, you did point to the Duke game. He played well, so maybe that completely disproves me immediately. I think Broome's going to take his lunch. That's my read on this. Is that the wrong read?
No, because I think Broome will outplay him. But that is more what I think of Broome as a player than necessarily Brazil as a player. The case for Brazil is his length, athleticism, and three-point shooting. The just ability to stretch the floor, be that rim protector without having to block 3 shots a game, the amount that he alters and impacts games. That's the way he wins this, is if it's not a pure skill issue, but he has length and athleticism to really bother Broom, and the versatility on when he's on offense and Broom's on defense to take advantage of Broom's lack of foot speed, everything like that. Like there is a path here for him to win that matchup, and it's not an inconceivable path. Broom's a better player, but the difference in styles to me is going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I need to give Brazil more credit as I'm starting to think about this more, because literally coming into this video, I'm like, oh, Broom's the matchup winner there. And now I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Brazil has kind of elevated his game in big spots. So I guess we'll see.
Broom has been low key excellent this season. Like part of the
Yes.
reason why we talked about, or you talked about before, Auburn's top 10 in Ken Bomb, we don't view them as a top 10 team, is because they haven't had those wins. Like their best wins, USC is one of their best wins. St. Bonaventure, it's one of their best wins. Virginia Tech, it's one of their best wins. Like they don't have that elite win. And this may not be an elite win, but winning at Bud Walton would be an awesome win for them and their best win on the season. If they won more of these games and played more of these, and Broom has played the way that he has, he's in the National Player of the Year conversation. He's in the All-American conversation. He has been excellent this season.
Yeah, for sure. I was looking back at it. This has been a pretty back and forth series the last couple of years. Arkansas has won 2 straight at Bud Walton against Auburn, but Auburn did get them back in 2020, so it's not unheard of that they could storm into Bud Walton and win this game. Prediction time: Ken Pom has Arkansas as a 5-point underdog at home here to Auburn. My strong suspicion would be that when the betting lines open up, this will be closer to a pick 'em. Maybe Arkansas is a 2 to 3 point underdog would be my guess. What side of it are you on?
I'm not going to go against Arkansas at home in a big game. I'm simply not going to do that. If Auburn wins, like it's would be a very realistic scenario. I just think Arkansas wins more often than not, with the variance that you may get from Auburn's guards and the fact that Auburn hasn't won a game like this yet this season. If they were playing this in Auburn, I'm taking Auburn. But I do think Bud Walton has enough of a factor here that the Razorbacks win a 2-possession game.
Yeah, I think that's the right read. I kind of am now hopeful that the sportsbooks will give us like a 1-point underdog for Arkansas.
Oh, please.
I'll be all over that. Yeah, Auburn, one true road game this year at App State. They lost 69-64. That was by far their worst performance of the season, in my opinion. I watched that game. It was gross. It was really, really gross. Aiden Holloway was 0 for 6 from 3-point range that game. And honestly, I think if Holloway was playing better right now, I think you could talk me into Auburn's just a better team. They're going to go get a statement win. But until he gets back on track from the scoring production we saw earlier in the season, I think you have to take the home team here. So I'm with you.
That's part of it too. Like you're relying on freshman guards who have been solid, but can be erratic just in Auburn's system. And now you're putting them in the pressure cooker of Bud Walton. They're going to be mistakes made that Arkansas takes advantage of. So I give the edge to Arkansas.
Yeah, 100%. All right, that's Brian Rauf, Heat Check CBB. I am Greg Waddell, Sleepers Media. We will have a recap of this game up later this weekend. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it.